And now I'm
What
not.
does your hat say?
ICE.
What is that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement.
Whoa, what just happened in this video? She just
No, that's not why. I mean, I say it to everybody. I say it.
I don't believe it happened. So I'm just like, I'm neutral to it. It's kind of refreshing to be somewhere where it's an argument or something like heated, and I'm really not. I'm like not involved. Like I really don't. To be honest, I don't think that at like 6 years old, 3 years old, I don't think that's any place for anybody's, how you say it. Platform to give you a message off the children. I read about the kid that wanted to go to the girls' bathroom. He was in like third grade. I didn't find out what is a third grader doing trying to pick which bathroom he's going to. When I was a third grader, it was hard to keep our asses in line.
That's the point. Is that children deal in confusion. They need order.
This is what I wanted to challenge you.
Yeah.
If you don't mind if I ask, what's your faith?
You could say anything. I'm an evangelical Christian.
Evangelical Christian?
Yeah.
What point did you start?
I was saved when I was 14 years old.
14 years old?
Yeah.
Have you never been to church before then?
No, I went to church, but those of us in the evangelical tradition believe there's a moment where you are reborn and you dedicate your life to Jesus Christ.
Baptist.
No, I know. I'm just saying for everyone else.
I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to see where your head is at.
Sure.
So, how do you feel about introducing children at age to religion and spirituality?
I think it's imperative for a couple reasons. So I think a Judeo-Christian construct at a young age generally has a child be taught morals and values that are not being taught in our increasingly secular society.
You don't think that could be done with like?
They could be, but I think it's done better in a church.
How would you do that?
Based on my analysis of a Judeo-Christian tradition versus countries that become more secularized.
Oh, versus countries, rather.
Right. So let me give you an example. Like countries such as.
So I'm sorry, I didn't want you to go in the wrong direction. Talk about specifically this country because I think we can all agree with all Americans here.
Yeah. So
even though I acknowledge the issues of other countries, I'm more concerned with this.
So let me give you an interesting example that's Oregon specific.
Yeah.
Okay. So Oregon has the #1 homeless population in the country per capita. Also the least likely to donate to charity to help homeless. It also has the most unchurched population in America. So I would draw a direct correlation.
I never understood the argument of not introducing, especially teenagers, to your family or religious beliefs. I don't understand it. And the reason I don't understand it is because if you're 13, 14, 15, or even as young as 11 or 12, around those ages, you do understand kids are being introduced to new stuff. They're at school for 8 hours a day, 9 months within the year. They're being introduced to stuff by their friends. They're being introduced to stuff by their teachers, by the board of administrators at their schools. They are going to get introduced to stuff online. They are. You can't deny it. So why, as a parent, would you think it makes sense to not introduce your child to stuff? Why do you think that makes sense? You think that they just won't be introduced to anything if you don't do it? No. So it's best to at least introduce them to stuff that would benefit their lives, such as your religious beliefs. If you think your religious beliefs will benefit them, introduce it to them. Don't wait until they're 20 years old or 18. At that point, they've already been influenced by their environment.
As people gravitate away from church, that people are less likely to help the poor. Now, that's not to say that there's not wonderfully dedicated poor, people that want to help the poor that are atheists and secularists. I'm making a more broad.
What about like Islam or Buddhism?
What about Islam?
What about it? Because I'm not Islam, but I was saying.
One of the pillars of the Islamic faith is to help the poor. It's one of the pillars.
That's good.
No, it is, but
my point is like you're very like specific when you want things that should be taught to a child.
Well,
I'm wondering why you would want a child to not be confused by gender, but you want them to be specific.
Well, because that's a great question. So, why teach the child the Judeo-Christian roots? Well, because
you want them to be like you.
No, not necessarily, because it's a good thing for children to be taught not to lie, steal, cheat, honor their parents, go to work. No, but it's best taught from the Torah, extending to the Christian tradition. It's based in the Ten Commandments.
It's hard to say because I used to be an evangelical Christian myself.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm not saying the church does a perfect job. I'm saying the church does the best job. And I have plenty of evidence to support that, and you guys can disagree. And I'm not trying to bash secularists. I'm not saying you can't teach morality outside of that. But the stem of Western morality comes from the Judeo-Christian tradition.
I just wanted to say something because I identified what you said. You said secularists, and that's so I'm in an anthropology class, and I'm learning about one of the things I learned about in African anthropology was our perspectives, how we see things, what lens do we view things. So in your case, you're viewing it through the lens of a Judeo-Christian heterosexual male, which I understand because I was a Baptist heterosexual black male. I gotta add that black on too, but it becomes a problem when you start to talk about law and how we should do things.
I never said any law.
Why is it a problem? You know, a lot of our laws are based in Christianity. I know people don't want to admit it, but they are. Those laws that says thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not lie, these laws heavily are reflected in how they've chosen to write the Constitution, how we've chosen to have amendments, our moral and ethical standing in the country. Not saying all of them, but a big majority of them. Christianity, I'm not going to say it's a direct mirror because that's just not true. But what I'm saying is that there's direct correlation between the way we run the country to the way the Bible tells us to run our lives or the way a church runs. There is correlation. And if you deny that, you're just being delusional. So what he's saying is that we should kind of remove or sever that connection, or he's basically trying to imply that that connection doesn't exist. But it's just an ignorant thought because if you are Baptist or you were Baptist, you know the commandments. You know what God calls us to do. You know he calls us to work hard, wake before the sun wakes. You know he calls us to value and honor your parents, to look after your family, to not murder, to not lie, to be a good, upstanding person. That's what God says because God is goodness. If you know this deep in your heart, you should know that laws kind of reflect this. But what you're saying is that they don't?
Who is we?
But
What's secular?
Well,
because to me,
secular
Christian
is a very specific definition.
I know what it means, but I'm saying what is secular to you?
Outside of organized religion would be secular. So
that's what I'm saying. So
I mean, like a Buddhist is not secular. Someone who's Muslim is not secular. Those would be part of unified religion.
That's what I'm saying. So those are not secular. Those are uniform religions.
That's
what makes
correct.
Judeo-Christian better than Buddhism?
Well,
Why?
great question. So what makes the Judeo-Christian tradition better than Islam, for example? Okay, so Islam has multiple examples that condone killing of others. The Christian tradition has not.
It doesn't?
No, Jesus denounced every form of violence against someone that disagrees.
But God did. Yahweh said to kill every man, woman, and child in the areas known as the Levant. When they went into the landfall with milk and honey.
Are you talking about in the Old Covenant or the New Covenant?
You're talking about Ruth when she helped hide.
So again, so the reason in the Christian, so the reason we have the Christian covenant is that Jesus created a new covenant.
Focus on the New Testament.
That's because I'm a Christian, correct? Yeah, I don't focus on it. You appreciate the Torah and you follow the New Testament. You follow the whole Bible, but there's a reason why Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John Acts exist.
You accept that was wrong, but you don't condemn your forefathers, your ancestors that did the wrong, right?
When did I not condemn that?
I'm asking. I didn't put it in your mouth.
Well, yeah, you did. You said I did.
No, I said I asked.
Right. So why? So let me give you a quick example of why Christianity is a different religion. Every other religion requires you to get closer to God. Christianity is the only religion where God actually came closer to us. Where you believe that there was a gift from God that came here to teach us how to live and actually died for your sins. And no other religion has that. You juxtapose the life of Muhammad versus the life of Jesus Christ, two totally different. Muhammad, hold on a second. Jesus Christ has 0 documented sins, died a passive death.
He was from the line of David. You know what David did?
Well, David was a Jew.
He sent a dude out on the line to get killed so he could have his wife.
Yeah, David was not. David was not divine. Jesus was. There's a difference.
It was part of the divine line, right?
No doubt, but no one was perfect until Jesus came down to earth. That's what we Christians believe. You see the difference? You ask what makes Christianity different. Theologically, Christianity has a completely different doctrine than any other world religion that's ever existed. Anyway, and now I'm not.
What's your hot say?
ICE.
What is that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement.
Whoa! What just happened in this video? She just ripped his hat off. Oh my gosh! Let's rewind that back.
What is that stand for?
Immigration, Customs, and Enforcement. Hey, don't touch
What
it.
are you doing?
You gotta let her have her emotions, man. Just listen.
Have a nice day.
Listen, I'm not saying that she was right.
Let's have a conversation.
She was wrong for
Let her
that.
go.
But you gotta show yourself.
I'm sorry,
that.
Charlie.
And then the guys in the background say you gotta let her have your emotions. If somebody touches you or somebody touches your stuff, you've gone beyond emotions. You've gone beyond talking. Now you're just in the realm of I gotta protect myself and make sure that I get out of this situation. You talking about let her have her emotions? She really assaulted him. She walked up to him and took his hat off the ground and threw it on the ground. She took his hat off his head and threw it on the ground. If before her hand got to his head and he would have grabbed her arm and slammed her, then it would have been an issue, right? Not saying I condone any sort of violence. I do not condone any violence. I'm just saying it's also wrong to get somebody's stuff and rip it off their body and throw it on the ground.
Really love her, you let her go.
No, 100%, guys. I'm not gonna press.
Did good. Did
Thank you.
good.
See?
I'll give you a prize.
I'm not gonna.
Because I'd have been pissed right on the elbow.
No, that's not.
Get it, women back.
Hey, put it on mine. That's not what it's about, guys. We have to have respect for each other and love. Right?
I'm not agreeing with what she did.
So, okay, I think I have to go. This
My
is,
uncle did not.
Yeah, don't assault anyone. Don't walk up to anyone and do that. That's not right. But if you have any suggestions for me, comment down below. So, Jojo, now.